Wait, did you?
Yes,
Oh,
that's why I go on.
well, you said something, so hi. Welcome back to Phone a Friend News. I'm one of your two hosts, Ambassador Chris.
And I'm Ambassador Michael. Hello.
And we have news
We do.
about stuff,
We do.
as we always do.
Every
Not a
week.
lot. Not a lot. Little
No.
stuff.
To
It's a dry season right now.
hold on one second here. Okay, we're good.
What?
I hit the wrong button. My bad. Anyways, so we're gonna talk about some news. All right. First up, PSVR stuff. So as of right now, from what I am seeing, PSVR has 3 games that are gonna come. When they come out with PlayStation VR, they're gonna update the game to support VR. It's not gonna be an add-on or anything like that. These 3 specifically. Bound, which is the rhythm dance game that just came out, I think last week. Hustle Kings and Super Stardust Ultra. I don't know what that is, but a lot of people like it apparently. Say it's really good. So, and then I got one more PSVR thing. I'm not gonna go into too much, but it is one of those things that's like people are mad about some shit that doesn't really affect them. So just go
And
through it.
what is it?
So Dead or Alive Extreme 3. Do you know what this is?
Yes.
Okay, you know all about this shit then. So, in case you aren't familiar, Dead or Alive Extreme 3 is basically Dead or Alive, but with volleyball and it's like it's like the swimsuit model edition of Dead or Alive. It's just all girls playing volleyball for some fucking reason. It's a Japanese thing. But anyways, so the point is the community manager back then said that given the ongoing controversy over how females are depicted in video games in the West, they were not going to release it outside of Asia, which was smart because it probably would have just been a shit show here. Anyways, so again, people from here are mad about it because they added a VR thing, and it's super Japanese and weird. Like it's first person VR, like with the model, like the bikini model. And it's weird. It's like uncomfortably weird. But I mean, if you're Japanese, it's probably not because it's just like you're just kind of used to the shit by now. But like I watched a little bit of it because I saw one article that was like, this is what it is, and it was just facts. And then another one that was like, this is basically sexual assault of women in games. And I'm like, well, this is like 2 ends of a spectrum here. Like I need to like figure this out. So I watched the video and I was like, I see why they didn't bring this here. This is like uncomfortable. Like normally I'm like, we should do whatever the fuck we want, but this I'm like, you should just keep it over there, because it's like, it's uncomfortable. I mean, if you're into that kind of stuff, good on you, but I would rather keep that stuff off my console, personally. So, but anyways, that was the point I wanted to point out. Is just that like, it's not here, so I don't understand why they're upset about it. If it was being released here, I could understand why you'd be upset, because it's pretty graphic and weird. But anyways, moving on. I just wanted to address it because somebody's going to be a dick about it. So, more PS4 leaks. That's cool.
Sorry about that, people. Issues.
Yes. We're back.
So what about how I describe the Neo?
Okay, yeah, you described these sketches of the Neo perfectly. I'll put them up in this video like I did in the last one. The Neo sketches come from the factory where they're made from, I believe. Let me quote this article real quick.
Factory where the Slim is being made.
I believe so. Hold on. Major electronic companies usually don't manufacture their hardware. Foxconn creates usually most of these. Recently, a worker decided to share a simple sketch on the Chinese forum blog A9VG. However, it was pretty clear that their drawings were for Sony's upcoming console, the Neo. So yes, this is from one of the workers at Foxconn, which manufactures the consoles. So most likely these are true. But the PS4 Neo, the way it's drawn is it looks like a regular PS4, but then you took the Slim and put it on top of the PS4. Oh shit, I got really scared. So
what's wrong?
An ad started playing in the background and I didn't know where the fuck it was coming from, because first it was birds and then just bass drop, and I was like, what is happening? Anyways, you described it as looking as like the fat PS2, and I was like, that is perfect. That is exactly kind of what it looks like. Like the lines are thicker, but it does look
It looks like
PS2.
PS2 meets PS4. It's got
Yeah.
PS4's parallelogram design, but
But the PS2 layers.
with PS2 layers. It just
Yeah.
looks fatter.
I feel like that was intentional. I feel like the outside design was kind of like this worked for the PS2. People liked it. And people give a shit less now. I mean, some people care, but like most of us don't give a shit. Like you just put that shit on a shelf somewhere anyways for 2 years, 3 years. What do you care what it looks like? Anyways,
Right.
yeah, I mean, especially the one mock-up that looks like an advertising or a marketing thing. You know what I'm talking about? The blue
Yeah.
one here. This one looks like it could be a legit mock-up from Sony. Now, I don't know if these are pictures or what. It could just be a mock-up, like a Photoshop mock-up.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
Photoshop.
Yeah, it's just a double layered PS4 with Photoshop, but if it is done this way, I'm not gonna be upset about it. It looks alright. It's heavier, I guess, than the PS4, but if you're making a more powerful system than the PS4 that's supposed to be able to handle VR, supposedly handle VR without the processing unit. Have you seen the processing unit? Thing's fucking
It doesn't
huge.
like plug into the front and look
Yeah.
really obnoxious.
Yeah, it's like this big. It's like pretty big, and it looks like a mini PS4. So, I mean, if it's 1.7, it says it's 1.7 kilograms heavier than the current PS4, and the PS4 is pretty light. So, I mean, even if they add some weight onto it, it's not going to be that bad. Plus,
Right.
I'd rather do if the Neo runs VR without having to have the fucking box, then I'm totally down. Because I know I'm gonna look at that box and it's just gonna drive me fucking crazy because it's just gonna be like ugly sitting on top of my PS4, just looking ugly as shit. So I don't know. I don't think it's that bad. It looks alright. It is what it is. So, but moving on from that, actually, I'm gonna cram the last of the PlayStation news in here so we can just get that out of the way. PlayStation Now is available right now for PC users. Sony has just gone ahead and put it through. So if you are on PC and you would like to play some older PlayStation games that you've never played before for cheap, it is available to you. It is a streaming service, and they do have the requirements up, I believe, on the PlayStation blog. And it's not like anything extensive. I think it's like you can run it on Windows 7 or some shit. Like, it's pretty
Which
easy.
almost everyone has if they don't have Windows 10.
Exactly. So like you can run it pretty easily, because it's being streamed to you, not you're downloading the game and it's running off your hardware. So, that interests you, it is there. But that is the last of the PlayStation news. At least the main PlayStation news. There's some in Flash news, but so
Zero.
Nintendo Direct is tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow.
I think so.
They have a Direct tomorrow for the 3DS, exclusively for the 3DS. They made sure that they said exclusively so that nobody gets pissed off that the NX isn't there. Because every time they do a Direct now, people are going to be like, it's the one. So.
Well, this is a really important thing because it's been very clear. They've been pointing out that there is a handheld aspect to the NX.
Yeah.
And so it raises a lot of questions, even though Nintendo said they're going to support the 3DS after the NX is released, what does that really mean? Does that mean that all of the games that would go on 3DS are going to go on the NX and then we're just going to get a dumbed down version on the 3DS? Like, what does it really mean?
I mean, based off of how they treat the 3DS, I assume that will be the case, is because they have the new 3DS, right? And they're like, well, this new 3DS is going to have exclusive games. I don't know if that's necessarily as true here. I know it probably is more likely in Japan. Mostly because they're way more into mobile gaming than we are. So, but I would assume that's going to be the case. Either you're going to get dumbed down versions of NX games on the 3DS, or you're going to get higher res 3DS games on the NX, which I'm totally fine with, but then it kind of eliminates the need for a 3DS. It's kind of just like them being nice to people that bought the 3DS instead of being like, well, you're completely fucked by an NX, you know?
Well, people are already feeling screwed over after the release of the new 3DS, and they're just like, oh, but there are games now that are only for the new 3DS. Like,
And the 3DS can't run, SNES games, apparently.
yeah, that is... We already went over that already.
Shit.
In short, if it can play rezzed up N64 games on the NX, there's no reason it can't play Earthbound or it can't play Link to the Past. That
3DS.
is... What did I say?
NX.
Did I say NX? I'm sorry.
You did.
Yeah, if it can play rezzed up versions of like Ocarina of Time and 64 games, there's no reason it can't handle game with even less.
I didn't even think about that. I was like,
yeah,
oh shit, yeah, you're right.
Ocarina of Time 3D is a rezzed up version of the
N64
version
game.
of the N64 version. So you're telling me a game that requires less power to run can't run.
Can't be done.
Can't be done. Nope. No.
I'm just thinking about the meme of that little, I think it's an African kid. He's like, or whatever. I forget the face he makes, but he's like, so you're telling me.
Like, telling me, yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
That's funny. But, yeah, what the fuck, yeah. Nintendo? Anyways, I think at this point I've hit a point too where I'm just like, I'm just going to wait for the NX. I'm not buying any more Wii U games or 3DS games because I want to see what happens with the NX. Like, what the library is. Because I was going to go buy Wind Waker HD because it's $20 now.
$20 permanent. That's its new price.
Yeah, exactly. It's $20 because it's a select. And I'm like, I kind of want to go buy it, but I kind of want to wait to see if it's the NX is backwards compatible with the Wii U, which I don't think it will be, but I just want to find out before I go spend money on more Wii U games that I'm probably only going to play once or twice.
Just a little fun thing to chime in here. I played Hyrule Warriors on the Wii U, and I played Hyrule Warriors on the Wii U, and I got it for 3DS. And then when I got my new 3DS, I was gonna be like, "This is gonna be awesome" because I have the C stick.
It was not awesome at all.
Oh my gosh,
it sucked.
It's the opposite. It's not what you want. You expect when a game is released for both the systems, you just expect the Wii U version to be an upsized, better running version of the 3DS. You thought wrong.
Didn't that one come out months later?
Yeah, but the point I'm trying to make is that it is terrible. The graphics are absolutely awful, and on top of that, the gameplay is just laggy.
It's because it's a res down version. It's because they went backwards with it, I would assume.
You know how back before the Super Nintendo had the 3DFX chip, and you wouldn't see three-dimensional objects. So when you were playing Mario Kart, the sprites would be swapped out for smaller and smaller sprites to kind of show distance.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean?
Yeah.
Well, in this game, when you get far enough away from an enemy, the enemy doesn't scale down. The enemy just vanishes.
The system's like, I can't load this. It's too far away to render.
It's just gone. And then as you get close to it randomly, an enemy appears.
And this is the new 3DS, right?
This is the new 3DS. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, Nintendo, get the fuck out of here with your bullshit on the SNES stuff. You can barely run a fucking shit version of Hyrule.
You're barely running your 3DS games.
Yeah.
I guess maybe it is understandable that you can't run games from like 20 years ago. Okay, that's being mean. The point I'm trying to make is that everyone's curious of what this means.
Yeah.
Like the support for 3DS means.
They've skipped out on it. I think I read this on IGN. By the way, I need to give credit. That last article I read about the Neo stuff was from Gaming Bolt. I want to make sure I give credit where credit is due. And then this, I read at IGN where I got the direct stuff is, they haven't had a direct since March 3rd. Like in any direct.
Oh, wow.
Since March 3rd. Granted, they had a Pokemon one, but that was specifically for Pokemon. It wasn't anything else Nintendo related. And I'm like, damn, that's a pretty fucking long time for them to go without saying anything. Especially in between that time, they were like, the NX is coming out in March. You want to know anything else? Fuck you. We're not telling you shit. So, like, I'm I'm curious as to why they're waiting so long. Because by the time that they announce the NX, Scorpio has already been announced. The Neo will already have been announced and probably released by the time the NX comes out. So Microsoft and Sony will have collectively released 5 consoles in the time it's taken Nintendo release 1. Because I'm counting the Xbox One S as a console because the redesign, it's much smaller, all that shit. They did a lot of work with it. It's not just like, here's a reskin. You know what I mean? So, like,
there's a bunch of like videos with people saying that they're taking the Xbox One S with a grain of salt because with all the so far supposed upgrades it has, a lot of people are just saying this is the Xbox One that just should have been released.
mm-hmm.
Like,
if they would release the Xbox One like that, well, the reason they released that one is so they can get rid of the old one. I assume, because you can buy the Xbox One, the fat black one by itself for $250 right now.
Mine still works awesome.
Yeah,
I'm not getting rid of it.
There's no reason for me to upgrade to an S. If my Xbox One were to just shit on itself, I would go get an Xbox One S. I wouldn't go buy another fat one, but then, like, have you seen the Kinect adapter?
Yeah, it doesn't take up a USB port or something.
Yeah, but have you seen the size of it?
It's probably pretty big.
It's basically the power brick. Like, it's fucking huge.
You need to plug it into the wall. That's right. It has its own power brick.
It's fucking ridiculous. Like,
yeah.
It's
cool
like
thing.
Eliminates the whole point of the Xbox One as not having the power brick if you have a Kinect. So
cool thing, if you upgrade from the big Xbox One, they just give you the adapter. Yeah. But if you just buy the Xbox One S, it's $40.
Yeah.
So not cheap.
Plus you have to buy the Kinect, which is another $100.
Yeah.
So
I got one of the first
bundles
Xbox Ones. Yeah.
You didn't have a choice.
Mine came with the Kinect. So
I bought mine independently, which is weird because now I have a Forza fucking Xbox and a black Kinect, and it drives me fucking crazy. And I'm just too lazy to go find a Forza skin for it. I could probably go find one for it, and it'd probably cost me like $3. But I'm just too lazy, and I keep forgetting. And I just mentioned it, so now I feel like I'm probably going to do that after I'm done here. Anyways, so the last news, regular news we have, is actually about Xbox. So on the Japanese website,
this
Xbox's
is
storefront. So when you go to the Xbox store for Japan, they have removed the listing for Kingdom Hearts 3 on the Japanese Xbox storefront. Now, the reason I find this particularly interesting is because I just had a conversation with somebody yesterday about how the Xbox One store is universal. It's just one store, and it's separated into languages. So when you change your region, all it does is change the language, according to the person I had talked to. Now, granted, these people are very hardcore, and they're mostly Xbox fans, so I believe what they're telling me without researching extra. If I am wrong, I'm sure somebody will let me know. But they removed Kingdom Hearts 3 from the Japanese store page, which is weird to me, only because of the Universal Store. It doesn't surprise me from the standpoint of the Xbox doesn't do good in Japan, and Square Enix is a Japanese game maker, and it makes sense if they put it on PlayStation. So, I mean, that's the reason why Kingdom Hearts came to PlayStation in the first place. I was wrong, I think. I don't think Sony owns 1 and 2. I think they just came to PS2 because they were Japanese, Sony was Japanese, and it was just easier to communicate with them back and forth about getting the game over. And then once they got the game, they were like, well, we should translate this to English and bring it over to America. And they're like, okay. I'm assuming that's how it went down. Anyways. But yeah, it doesn't surprise me from the business standpoint, but it does surprise me from the Universal Store standpoint. So Square Enix hasn't said anything about it yet, and this happened yesterday. So we'll see. I mean, it's not like you have anything to worry about. Kingdom Hearts 3 is not going to come out till 2020 anyways, so why worry about it.
2025 probably.
2025. We'll get Final Fantasy 15 in 2019. Get Kingdom Hearts 2025. Final Fantasy 7 remake. We're probably gonna be dead before that happens, so don't even worry about that one. Like,
Yeah, Kingdom
God
Hearts
damn.
2 came so quick after Kingdom Hearts
So
1, or just like a few years, if I remember correctly.
It was like 2 or 3 years, yeah, I think. You
And
know
then
what's funny?
it's taking forever for.
It, that's because of fucking 15, dude. It's because at the time that they had done that, everybody was like, our Final Fantasy fans were like, 7 is the best. Because America, that was one of the first ones that like got popular in America, is 7. And so Square Enix, after like 10 and 11, no, 11 is the bad one, 11's the online one. 12 came out and they're like, this isn't as good as all the other shit, the old shit. So they're like, we're gonna make a game better than 7. And then they're like, fuck Kingdom Hearts, we don't need to worry about this shit. And then 15 is 13 Versus. It was supposed to be like an alternate version of 13's world, because 13 was, I forget what, 13 was about some dude and his friends, and then 13-2 was all women, and then 13 Versus is Final Fantasy 15, and it was supposed to be a group of dudes, which is turned into 15. So I blame Final Fantasy 15 is my point.
I love how honest the guy was. I remember it was like shortly after, around the time that the PS4 was like being released, all these next gen consoles were going to be released. They were asking like, "Hey, when are we getting when are we getting Kingdom Hearts 3?" And the guy was just like, "Dude, you're not going to get it for a while." He was so honest. He just like, "Yep."
Yeah.
He's like, "You will not see it for
The
a
PS4 was revealed, what, in February of 2014? 2013. Because it came out in November of 13. So it came out 3 years ago. That game, to be fair, it said in development when they teased it. That was in 2013. And Final Fantasy 15 still isn't out yet. And that game's been worked on for 10 years. So good fucking luck. Once Final Fantasy 15's out, then I'll start considering the possibility of that game coming out within the next 5 years. But I'm not holding my breath. To be fair, Kingdom Hearts 3 is the reason I bought a PS4 in the first place. So, like, when they announced it, I was like, I need a PS4. I need this right now.
You would have gotten a PS4 anyway.
I would have. But that was one of the major decisions. And because I had stopped gaming at that time. Like, I just stopped gaming altogether. I didn't have shit. Like, I got rid of my 360 and I just didn't play games for like a year and a half. Oh, if only I had saved my money. But I didn't. So games aren't my excuse for being broke. I'm just always broke. So anyways.
So that's fun. Flash news.
Yes, to Flash news. I'm going to say this and then I'm going to laugh about this with you because it's really fucking funny. So Gran Turismo Sport got delayed until 2017. Gran Turismo is the racing game Sony does. I'm not a huge fan of racing games, so I mean it's whatever to me. But there's a lot of people that buy and play PlayStation that love Gran Turismo. And the reason I thought this was funny is, do you know who Shinobi is? Okay. He had tweeted out earlier today, he was like, you know that meme of the guy that gets really mad and he has like veins popping out of his head? And it was like, when you're Sony and you haven't delayed a game in 5 minutes. And it's just that.
Oh yeah, it shows you being really stressed. I saw that comment for times when you vape, you haven't showed anyone in like 10 seconds, and it just shows them like.
Yeah.
Or when you're a vegan, you haven't told anyone in a few seconds. And just...
I was fucking dying. I was like, God damn it, Sony has delayed so many fucking games this generation. Anyways, so that was funny. You remember how we talked about the Metal Gear Solid 5 definitive experience?
2 of the best Metal Gear Solid 5 games.
There's only 2, but alright. Anyways, did we talk about Metal Gear Survive, by the way?
No.
Metal Gear Survive, apparently Konami was like, you know what people really like out of Metal Gear? Co-op survival zombies. It's pretty stupid. I mean, I'm not a Metal Gear fan, so I don't get to talk shit, I guess. but I think it's pretty stupid. It's basically Left 4 Dead with a Metal Gear skin on top of
Yeah, I was
it.
gonna say ever since Call of Duty Zombies and Red Dead Redemption
And Left 4 Dead.
and Left 4 Dead.
It's just been a fucking... Everybody just does co-op zombie shit. It's just awful. And just co-op shit in general, like Evolve. Like that kind of shit, like... Whatever. So, anyways, yeah, Konami was like, yeah, the definitive experience is real. It releases on October 11th. It comes with Ground Zeroes, Metal Gear Solid 5, the DLC. I forget what DLC came for it. Metal Gear Online, which, like, very few people gave a shit about, and the DLC for that, I guess. So, I mean, if you didn't play Metal Gear Solid 5 and you want to buy it for $50 with all the bullshit that comes with it, it's going to be here.
There you go.
I like Metal Gear Solid 5. It was good. Ground Zeroes kind of sucks, but to be fair, Ground Zeroes is just like a demo, like an E3 demo kind of shit. So, and the last bit of Flash news is Battlefield 1 beta starts tomorrow, but today for people that are part of the Battlefield Insider Club. I don't know what the fuck that is. I'm just reading the words that were told to me. So, if you are one of those people that likes Battlefield, go have a ball. Find out if you like the game or not. I'm sure if you like Battlefield, you'll love it. I suck at Battlefield, so I don't play Battlefield. I can appreciate the depth of Battlefield, but I fucking suck at it, so I'm not going to play it. And that's it. I do have a question for you, good sir, while we are
On
this.
camera.
Yes.
Sure.
Let me look at the schedule here.
As long as it's nothing risque.
So next week, on September 7th, Sony is having a PlayStation meeting. Now, I believe that PlayStation meeting will begin at 6 p.m.
Okay.
Would you prefer to record Wednesday instead and delay Phone a Friend News until Thursday, or record an extra one Wednesday night?
We can delay it off until Wednesday. There's no point in us covering the little bit of news that we'll most likely have the day before.
Exactly.
And then going and covering everything the next day. We may as well just scoot it over to Wednesday. As much as you folks love to see our faces, I am also a full-time student.
I work full-time, and I go to school full-time. And I do this shit. So, I barely have any time as it is. But yeah, I figured it would just be easier for us to come together after the event, and we can talk about news and then have a discussion about the system if we wish. So,
yay!
Woo! So
and we'll discuss the 3DS stuff too.
Yeah, we'll do a normal stuff, and then we'll do how we felt. I will watch the event most likely. You will probably just get the cliff notes from me if you do not watch it yourself. I don't know if you will or not. I don't know why. I love that shit now. Like, I just love watching press conferences, and I feel like a fucking old person saying that.
Yeah, you're such an adult, dude.
I like watching video game press conferences. That's like adult, but also like you're a 5-year-old at the same time. So, but we will get out of here, and we will see you then. Next Thursday, we will put up an episode then. We will delay it by a day.
And we will see you all then. I am Ambassador Chris.
And I'm Ambassador Michael.
And we'll see you on Thursday. Bye.
Goodbye.